All right. Well, first of all, how are you guys doing this afternoon?
Yeah, we're doing good. I hope you can hear me. I don't
I
know.
can, yes.
Okay, good, good.
Good, great. We haven't had a chance to meet in person yet, but my name's Jenna Carl. As you know, we've been really impressed with what you guys have done with your store in Florida over the last year, and I work with Allison on the development team and marketing. So part of my job is to share stories and especially success stories about our franchisees, and that's why we're here today. And then
Awesome. And then you guys, I think you know me. I'm Allison. I'm on the development team. So I work with franchisees and just like Jenna, try and tell their stories and share all the awesome things that you guys do out in your communities.
Okay, thank you.
All
Yes.
right, so if you guys are ready to get started, the first question I have for you is just tell us who you are and a little bit about your background and yourselves.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
I'm Leena. I'm Leena Joseph, and my background, I was a stay-at-home mom for 16 years, and Angelo and I, we wanted to do something to keep me busy and make me feel more useful, I guess, once the kids are all grown up and gone. And yeah, Angelo wanted to buy me this restaurant, so he felt I would enjoy doing that, and yeah, so that's how we got into this.
Great, and then what about you, Angelo?
concur everything except for the make me feel useful part. That wasn't the reason. she we didn't need to buy the restaurant to affirm that. That's but apart from that, it's the same thing. We felt that Lena wanted to get back to doing something. She's actually more educated than me. But she just decided to stay at home, and then as the kids became bigger, she wanted to get back into the workforce, and we just felt that maybe doing something for ourselves is better than Lena going and finding a job. So that was kind of the motivation. And then we were kind of looking around for about, I guess that might be a follow up question. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, so that's always better to work for yourself than work for somebody else. We see a lot of people transitioning over to franchising because of that. Um, Tell me a little bit more about what you were doing career-wise before becoming franchisees.
You want to go first? Let me. Oh,
Like
me.
career-wise, I was just a stay-at-home mom. I already mentioned that. Yeah, I'll let you speak, Andy.
Okay. Yeah. So I actually work as a I work as a director for engineering in an aerospace company. So far away from the food industry, but both of us had a lot of passion for cooking and food. That's something we like. We also have a lot of passion for entrepreneurship. We have actually dabbled in owning businesses in the past, and we have done that. Uh, so we have done a few things like that, but nothing life changing or anything like that. But so we always like doing entrepreneurial things. But then my full time job, which I still own, Lena is the full time Teriyaki Madness owner operator. I'm just kind of supporting her from the side. I still have my full time job, which I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome, great. And you said you looked at some other brands and other opportunities for maybe owning a business before?
Yeah. So the businesses we owned before were not franchisees. I mean, believe it or not, we actually used to run an internet company together
Oh,
uh, way back 15 years ago.
awesome.
And so things like that. But then over the last year, we started looking at um, franchisees primarily in the food industry, but we were also looking at things outside the food industry. We felt that if we want to start something on our own, doing a franchise is a much better option than doing things completely by ourselves. Just because with the help that we expected to get from being a franchisee, so that was kind of our
Great.
reason. And yeah, that's
All right,
and Lena can
great.
jump anytime. Yeah.
And what made you choose Teriyaki Madness when you did decide to go with your entrepreneurship dream over other brands?
I think we first tasted the food. Like honestly, we never knew there was a teriyaki madness in our town, but when we came across this business for sale, we went and tasted the food and we really liked the food. And we like spicy food, so we really like the spicy chicken and the crab rangoons. And then I think Angelo and my daughter, they came down to Denver, and they had, I forget what it's called, but they came to the corporate and they had 2 day
The
introduction they
discovery,
had to the
the discovery,
company.
yeah,
Uh,
the discovery.
yeah, okay. Yeah, and he was really impressed with the company and how it was conducted and the people. He was really impressed by it.
And
Awesome.
so you guys like spicy? Are you guys spicy chicken or mad spicy chicken?
I
I
mean,
think I like spicy more than that.
I actually like the straight teriyaki chicken and crab rangoons. That's my favorite. I don't eat carbs, so that's another thing I really like. Right from day one, when I went to the shop, I did veggies with straight teriyaki chicken. That was my go-to dish, which I still that's my go-to dish. The And to add to what Lena said, I think at least for the store that we have, the location is really good. It was in a really good location, a place we hang out a lot, regardless of owning this business.
Mhm.
And that was kind of one of the weird things because it's a location where we go to quite often. It's a really trendy part of the city, and we never knew the shop existed. And we are people who eat out a lot. I mean, I've never
Mhm.
eaten. I always eat out. That's my thing. I eat out every day for lunch, and so it's kind of a so it was kind of surprising for us. And then, like what Lena said, myself and my daughter, we came over for Discovery Day, and I really liked the culture of corporate. It was kind of the vibe and the culture, and the values kind of matched with my values and our values, the kind of people I wouldn't mind hanging out with. So I could relate to that. So it made sense. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I think it speaks a lot to how well you've done with this location, with how things have been going, and you hadn't even heard of it before, being right in your hometown. So that's great. Which specific areas of the corporate support did you find most helpful with opening the shop again?
You want to go
I
ahead,
think this
Lena?
And
might be more for you. Just what was most helpful from the franchisor to get your shop transferred and you taking it over?
I think that the training was really helpful and having the trainer here when we opened the shop. And right now, I would say the coach, having the coach here in my state,
Mhm.
I run to him every day for all problems. So, and he always picks up the phone and always helps me in his
That's
best
great.
capable, yeah, in
That's what
his
we want to
best
hear.
capacity. Yeah.
Love
Yeah,
that.
and to add to that, I know when we started the shop, it was kind of a. I mean, it was not all, it was not all rosy and great. We One way it was good that we were kind of ignorant of what to expect, because we jumped in without knowing some things. We just felt, hey, we have common sense. We've done stuff like this. We should be able to do this. But there was a lot of things that we didn't expect that happened, just because it's a new type of business. But like Lena said, even the having the trainer from corporate, we even actually extended. He was supposed to be there for 2 weeks, I think, initially, and we actually told him if we actually called and requested that we extend him for another 2 weeks, I think, right, or another week, and
Yeah.
it was really nice to have that kind of a pillar to kind of lean on. It was more like moral support, I would say, in many ways. And I think that helped a lot in the transition. Having him here in person really helped a lot. And the reason why I'm stressing that is we were not a brand new shop; it was a transfer. So I know some franchises, they don't do that for transfers that much. But I was really happy that even though this was a transfer, even little things like, I know the week before, Elizabeth was kind of looking out for us. She found that some of the what do you like, the goods and utensils and things like that were not up to par, that were left behind by the previous person. And she was looking out for us. She wanted to make sure that they were all replaced and everything was fully stocked. And all of that was really nice because we did a pretty quick transfer. We actually did the whole thing much faster than what normally someone does. Like, in fact, Leena was doing her training while I closed a lot of things here. And when she came back, I think within a week we were open.
That's
Yeah. So,
I love that. So, Lena, you kind of talked about your business coach. What have you found most useful with your business coach? Like, it sounds like you guys communicate a lot, which we love. What's been most helpful?
Like in any issues I run into and I don't have an answer to it, I know he has the answer to it. Like many times I didn't even think of calling him. Then Angela tells me, "Oh, why don't you call Andre? He may know what to do." And I'll immediately call him, and he always knew what to do. So like once my grill fell on the ground and it kind of disconnected the gas at the back, and I didn't know how to reconnect it, how to work that thing. And I discovered that the morning I came to work, that the grill was not working and we had to open the shop. And I didn't think of calling Andre. I didn't think he will know the answer to it. But then he found out the information and called me and walked me through like redoing the pipe at the back, and we got it working. So I mean, now for everything I keep calling him. So, yeah.
That's what they're there for.
Yeah,
Um,
we didn't have a coach for a long time
mhm.
before Florida, and he became a coach, I think, 3 months back or something. So I now know what I was missing. I didn't have a coach before, so yeah.
That's great. I'm glad you've been able to build a relationship with Andre and be able to lean on him when you need him. He's wonderful.
yeah.
So kind of on the flip side, what was the least favorite part of opening your shop and reopening your shop, doing this transfer? Or the hardest or
Maybe
I
Leena
think
should go
the
first.
staff
staff?
staffing was an issue because it didn't come with a good number of people or good staff, I would say. So staffing was an issue. A lot of people like left immediately. So yeah, so we had to go around finding people to work. So that was an issue for us.
Okay, yeah, I can imagine how difficult that can be.
Yeah.
So you guys, or sorry, go Angelo.
No, I was just going to add one more thing. I feel the the fast food business being new to us, some of the things that we now know how to do. I mean, it's only been a year, and we feel like we've done this now for 10 years. We kind of have a system in place how to deal with these things, like from a staffing perspective. There were certain things that we just did not expect. Like, and I'm not like dissing anyone or anything, but it's good for people to know that in this industry, you invite 35 people for an interview, they all say yes, they would show up. And there were times, and I'm not exaggerating, literally two people will show up out of the 35 who said that they would show up. That was and this is not like, hopefully this doesn't come out the wrong way, but this is apparently par for the course for this industry. And not being from this industry, that was a shock for us. Like, I'm used to where in my industry, people, I mean, they come 5 minutes early to the interview and they're standing there, and we have to literally tell them, why did you show up 5 minutes early? I'm in another meeting, now you're wasting my time. It's the opposite. So that was a huge shock for us, really. And it took us a while to get used to that. Once we kind of knew, now it's the flip side. If someone shows for the interview, we're really happy. We kind of expect that they're not going to show up for the interview. We kind of assume that they want anybody who kind of makes the grade. We invite them for an interview because we feel like we would rather have we'd rather send out invitations for 50 people, play the odds that 5 show up, and 1 out of that 5 is a good is a keeper. So so these are little things. They sound they sound pretty small, but they were some of the huge sources of headaches, if you will, because everything is new. You're learning everything, and you don't have people, and especially on a transfer. I think timing of when you kind of inform the existing staff about a transfer, I really believe there were two trains of thought, and I think a lot of people, even in Denver, there were trains of thought like don't tell anyone, keep it till the last minute. In hindsight, in my opinion, I felt like we overplayed that. I mean, it didn't make a big difference. In some ways, if we had actually planned for it like 2 weeks in advance, it may not have been too bad. We'd have at least had a feel for what to expect. We kind of kept that till the end. We literally mentioned it to a couple of people like 2 days before the shop was bought. And really, at the end of the day, that didn't make a big difference. Like, people are not like surprised or disappointed, and we didn't prepare for new staff anyway. So it was something. If I was to do it all over again, I would rather take the risk of hurting some people's feelings, but just plan for the transfer, work with the other owner, because the previous owner just told us, hey, it's up to you. You pick the timeline, you know? And so, yeah, that was, it was really staffing was the biggest issue. The other things we were able to kind of, it is really just figuring out how to do things. It wasn't like, I mean, let me put it this way. Everything else, we had some control. The staffing, we don't have control. If someone doesn't show up, they don't show up. We can't force them to show up. So, yeah. So
That's a good point. No, that's very good insight. So you guys have been doing a phenomenal job. It's very impressive. I looked today, you guys are at 58% year over year, which is just phenomenal. So congratulations on that. Your hard work is paying off and all your time spent and all your learnings. What do you think the biggest thing that helped you turn the business around was?
Just again finding the right staff, I guess. And one thing which we did, and it kind of helped, was since we were new to this industry, after 2 3 weeks or something, we hired a manager, and that kind of helped us because she kind of helped us to understand how to run the place. She was there for only a short time because she moved, but she was there probably for 2 months or something. But it really helped, and I think during her tenure, she hired some good people who are still working with us. So that
Okay.
really helped. Yeah.
yeah, and from my perspective, what I would say is, what we found was, for the most part, the food kind of, if someone comes and tastes the food, they pretty much like it. We hardly found anyone who didn't like the food. So really, it was a question of making sure that the shop looked professional. It was clean. It was open 24. It was open when it's supposed to be open. We went to great lengths. I mean, I can count with my 5 fingers the number of days when we didn't have something on the menu. I think, Leena, you'd agree to that, right? Over the last one year,
Yeah.
over 365 days, I can hardly think of days where we have said, hey, this is not there today, come after 2 hours. I think I can just think of a couple of days, which I think is phenomenal. I mean, I look at other stores, I look at established stores like Chipotle and places. I've gone there. I can count more days in my local Chipotle where they've not had chicken or they've not had steak or things like that, and they get away with it. We went to great lengths to do that, and then it's all those little things. I remember once there were 4 Rangoons instead of 6, and I drove personally almost 8 miles to go give this person the 2 extra Rangoons. So it was all those little things. We are still in that mode. We have now starting to understand that in the food industry, hopefully we don't get used to that. There are certain things that people are okay with, certain amount of inefficiencies. Okay, occasionally things are not going to be there from the menu, or occasionally you're going to miss things, and that's the fact of life. We have not given up on that. we are still trying to make things perfect for every customer. We are still trying to make sure they get what they ordered. We're trying to make sure that everything that's on the menu, as long as it says it's available, it's actually available.
Mm-hmm.
And I think initially when we had a lot of trouble getting customers in, I ran a lot of deals on DoorDash, a lot of lots of promotions. I almost went overboard, I think, in some ways, but that helped a lot. And then eventually we started focusing on easy cater and catering in general, and that helped us a lot. So I think doing those little things, keeping it clean, not taking some of the things that even some of our employees who have worked in the food industry much longer than us, they would say, "Oh, Leena, don't worry, that's okay. We can just do it." We would say, "No, if it's open till 9:30, if a customer shows up at 9:25 in house." That person is still getting chicken the same way. These were like cultural changes we made in the first 2 weeks. In the first week, the previous manager who was in the store from the previous owner, she would start cleaning and giving the impression that the store was shut down at 8:45, 9. And in fact, I was there working in the kitchen one day when a customer said, and he came and looked, "Oh, you guys are cleaning the grill and all that? I don't want this chicken anymore." And I looked at our manager and I told her, "See what I said? You may be in the food industry for 25 years. I've been here for 2 weeks." But right there, and she, from then, even her respect for us went up, because she said, "Oh, these people know what they're doing." Right then and there, I proved my point. You want to give, because for that customer, that's their one trip to the shop. It may be 9:28 or 9:25. It's their one trip to the shop. And you want to make sure that they're not treated like it's a 9:28 customer. So those were those little things we kind of changed. Even with our own employees, we change. I mean, and it's a work in progress. Even now, we've been having to. It's even like simple things like, when you have 5 customers in the store, the whole kitchen works fast to keep the 5 customers moving. When there's one customer in the store, 2 of them go back and they start prepping and doing things, and they leave one person to do it all. So even though there's one customer, it takes them 12 minutes to get the same bowl, which it would have taken them 10 minutes if there were 5 customers. But then this one customer is looking and saying, "What is this? I'm just one person here, and it takes me 10 minutes." So they're not going to show up. So these were like cultural changes. So I was like, training the employees to show that, hey, if there's 10 people waiting in line, people are okay to wait for some time. But if there's one person, they want it right away.
Right.
It's simple things like that, which made a huge difference, I think, in the long run. And yeah.
Yeah, I
Right.
love that because I mean, customer experience and customer service is so important. Like you said, Angelo, like when they get the food in their mouth, they're gonna keep coming back because it's delicious. But you also want to provide them with, good orders that are accurate, quick orders. They're important. They can order food as long as the shop is opened. And it sounds like you guys are doing an amazing job, and that is leading to these increased sales year over year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really emphasize those mad moments through our memos with you guys and at the conference and everything. And it sounds like you guys are the perfect example of that working, because clearly it's bringing people back and they're noticing the difference. So that's amazing. Um, what would you say the most valuable or like the biggest lesson that you've learned since being business owners?
You want to go?
I mean, Leena is the one who's 24/7 in the shop, so she has learned far more than me. But as a business, I mean, I'm not operating the store day to day like Leena does. I mean, she went some days, she put in 95-hour. I mean, I would say 95 hours in 2 weeks, 100 hours easily, or 120 hours. She's had 120-hour fortnights, if you will. So I'm sure you should probably take that question. You probably are better equipped to answer the question. But I can only say things from outside the store, what I've learned. I mean, the thing that I've learned is the greatest satisfaction in life sometimes it's not just money. That's the thing that I've learned. The greatest satisfaction that I've gotten from co-owning this business with Leena is the impact that we have made in the lives of our employees. That's what I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, and we are fortunate to be in a situation where we want the business to make a lot of money, and we want that. But we don't need that. We can maintain our lifestyle as long as the bills are paid. If the business starts losing money, which it is not, we have a problem. But so for me, the biggest lesson that I learned is not everything you do. I mean, I know being in an aerospace business for 25 years, I know the first cardinal rule is a business exists to make money, and I still believe that. But the lesson that I learned is there's far more things you gain by owning a business. I never thought that the biggest satisfaction that I've gotten is to see our team, like some of our team members, they've been able to do things in their lives for the first time because they were able to work and earn a living through Teriyaki Madness. Some of them, went into their first apartment together as a couple. They were able to buy certain things for the first time, buy a certain type of car for the first time. All of these things. So, I mean, that is something, that's intangible. I mean, many people can make millions of dollars, but to make an impact in people's lives, that's the biggest lesson that I've learned. You own a business for other things, not just for, making money for yourself. I don't know. It sounded a little cringy, but that's
No, I love
so.
that.
I love it.
I've heard a lot of other franchisees say the same things. It's just how rewarding it is to build in your communities, help the people within your community, see these just little, like Jenna was saying, these little mad moments even within your communities, not just with your customers, but with the people you're around all the time.
Right.
Leena, I think that's a great kind of question to finish up on. Do you have anything else to add to that? Like, what's the most rewarding moment you've had being a team ad owner?
The most rewarding moment for me is when I can remember the customer's name, I can remember the customer's order, and they don't even have to say anything. I ask them the usual, and they say yes, and I just enter it. And I did that even today, this afternoon, and they love it.
Oh, they love it, I bet.
I love that so much, and I love that when I'm the customer. That's wonderful. Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time. This was super insightful. I loved hearing your story. There was really some good kudos I think we can share with other franchisees from the experience you guys have gone through. And keep doing what you're doing. You're kicking butt and taking names.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, you guys
Thanks.
are killing it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks.
And
Thank
we'll
you.
speak to you soon.